Sound a bit harsh? Yeah. Welcome. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about strumming. Now, what you just heard is, typical of someone not quite a raw beginner, but in that beginner stage, okay? And you haven't quite found the touch yet between pick and strings, okay? When it comes to just feathering nicely across the strings to create a volume that you need or want, okay? The pick isn't comfortable in your hand yet. It's moving around on you. You can't control it. Trust me, both of those things will get better. That's guaranteed. It's all about practice and developing that touch. All right? But unfortunately, sometimes it can have a detrimental effect. So here's what happened to me. And like everything I talk about here, this is related to my personal experience with learning the guitar. All the little things that I show you are things that either I incorporated or found out later and added to my guitar playing, and it's like I wish I knew that when I was starting kind of thing, okay? So this is another one of those examples. So I got to the point where I was playing, 3, 4, 5 chords, pretty good. I'd been in a few months working every day diligently, building up, my fretting hand to the point where my chords should be sounding good, but I wasn't happy. Did not like the sound I was getting. I kept waiting for something to happen. It never did. I just felt everything was brash and loud, okay? And I didn't realize, but as a beginner, it's natural to maybe if you're not sure or confident with your left hand, then your right hand plays harder and faster to try to cover up the fact that this might not sound right, okay? And in reality, what we're doing is we're just amplifying the problem, okay? So for me, when it all I was getting really down in the dumps, and it all sort of came around one night when I was asked to quieten down. Hey, can you go somewhere else with that? It's, you're making a noise. It's loud. So the first thing I did was I dropped my pick. And I just started, and I don't know why, but I just started brushing the strings with really my whole hand, okay? Now, it's my thumb, it's the side of my thumb, but I've also got you hear that? I kind of got my open palm and the heel of my hand brushing across the strings, okay? So my thumb leads the way a little bit, okay? But my palm is there too. And it kind of sounded cool. And right away my brain went, hey, what's going on? That sounds all right. What did you do? I don't know what I did, okay? But it was the combination of just the hand and the side of the thumb that made a nice, mellow kind of tone coming out of my guitar. The most important thing was, not only did it sound good, but I realized, you know what? My chords sound pretty good. It wasn't the chords. They weren't perfect, but it wasn't the chords that was hindering my process or my progress. It was this hand. It was my picking. And that's natural when you think about it, because even I advocate this hand is the most important hand starting out. You've got to get your chords sounding right. They got to ring out properly, okay? And more importantly, you got to be able to transition between 2, 3, or 4 or more chords to make music and make songs, all right? So it stands to reason that all of our focus and attention are on Mr. Lefty, right? We've talked about this before. But to build a solid guitar foundation, it's left and right working together in synergy. So the minute I sort of said, okay, let's put the pick down, it made my left hand rise above. And now my confidence is better because, hey, my E and A is good, man. My G and C sounds great. What am I thinking of? All right? So I'm going to show you in depth basically what I started to do. But don't confuse this with the Travis picking system. Now that's a different animal altogether. It's a finger picking system that has structure to it. So it revolves around assigning fingers and your thumb to certain strings on the guitar that you have to play. Now, I'm sure there's variations, but for the most part, there's rigid rules in place. This way, no. Okay, this is just freestyle finger strumming. Okay, I didn't come up with it, but a lot of those flamenco guys, you know, the ones you see playing with their guitars up here like this, and they're doing a lot. There's a lot of that going on, right? A lot of looks like they're flicking and things. Well, yeah, it's kind of a version of that, I suppose. And I use it, and I didn't come overnight. Okay, it started off this way: flesh of my side of my thumb, down, up, never taking my hand. So I got my palm, and I got my thumb just out in front, or below it, if you will, so that my thumb actually strikes first, and my palm is kind of brushing up and down behind it. That's how it started. E, A, D, okay? And not only did I notice that my chords sounded better, but I realized that the landing spot, you know, when you're picking and you have to get that A string down for the C chord, right? And you miss it, and you hit the G, or you hit the D, or even further down, and it's like the pick magnifies it. You idiot, you know, you sound terrible, and you get it in your head that you just screwed up. With my thumb, I didn't notice that problem. If I mishit, it wasn't out there for everybody to hear, okay? So of course, confidence up, energy up, enthusiasm up. Ultimately, that means quality up, right? So now I'm liking what I hear, okay? Now, of course, the downside is it's hard to hear you when you're playing with your fleshy fingers. It's great when you're by yourself. It's great in a small room with a few people. But once you get outside, you get to a pool party or a big room, I mean, people won't hear you if they're more than 10, 15 feet away. And then if you have to start bashing, what happens when you finger bash like this, I call it, your strings sound really bassy, okay? And, well, you're going to get a blister on the side of your thumb within an hour, no questions. And when you're forcing the thing, you make mistakes too. So that's not the way to go. If you're plugged in, you can turn it up a little bit, but if you're playing like that, you might as well, you're going to have to stick with your pick. So this is more for when you're in close. So again, I started with just the fleshy part, right? And then I realized I could add my forefinger to it. So I would start just plucking on the way up with the fleshy part of my finger, okay? Then I realized I could, with a little bit of nail growth, I could pick out any notes that I wanted to. Okay, if I wanted to play lead, or right, I could do it with my finger, I could do it with my thumb, right? So I could do the exact same thing as I did using a pick, but I got a nice, gentle, mellower sound, which made everything that was coming out of me sound better. Okay? So that might be something that you guys have come across, and you're sitting there going, God, why am I not getting better? Try putting your pick down, okay? You can do everything with your hands that you did with your pick, right? Any strumming pattern, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. You can just do the down, up, down, up. You can do all downs. You can do all ups. Okay? You got the back of your finger. Okay? You got more weapons. You got more things. Makes you more versatile. But most importantly, it made me sound better. And that, in the early stages, is the most important thing. So give it a try, drop the pick, see if it helps. At the very least, you'll come up with a new style, which is another weapon in your bag that you can bring out when you need it or want it. Okay? I, to this day, play mostly without a pick. Okay? So even if I go do little gigs, they're usually in smaller rooms, quiet rooms. I'll be plugged in, but I'll still. Okay? All right. Well, give it a try. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your early support with this channel. If you like what you hear and see, and you want me to be part of your beginner's guitar journey, then do the subscribe thing or follow. I guess it's subscribe. And there's videos coming out every day. And let's play together. Let's get you playing guitar as fast as possible, okay? Leave me any comments, suggestions, anything along the line. I try to answer everything. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time. Happy practice.